Hello and howdy there. Maybe a week ago I got to see Django Unchained. I enjoyed it. I'm going to give it an 8. I thought it was a solid picture. It's one of the films I want to see again to see if it changes in my mind. Perhaps I'll like it a little bit more. Initially, again, it's Quentin Tarantino. Quentin Tarantino is one of, probably the foremost auteur working in film today, at least American film. No one makes a film like Quentin Tarantino. This is undeniably Tarantino. It's probably one of my least favorite Tarantino films. I thought it was very indulgent, which is okay, but it was just indulgent. I also would say the same thing about Kill Bill, which I believe is his best work. It's indulgent as well, but I think that's indulgent in terms of style, where Django Unchained is indulgent in terms of storytelling. It seems like he wanted to get in everything, and he just didn't have the time to do it. It seemed that way, that there was a lot of story to tell and not much time to do it. In fact, I think he probably could have very easily made this 2 movies. He probably even could have done a Django series if he wants to. I think it has maybe a lot to do with, this is a big passion project for him. Not that any of his films aren't, but he's been wanting to make a Django film for a long time. If I remember correctly, I think he started to write Django like even right after Pulp Fiction, before Jackie Brown. I think he put some focus on Django. So this is really a story he's been wanting to tell for some time. And maybe he's just been thinking about it for too long, and he just wanted to get everything he's been imagining into one film. And so it seems a little slapdash, maybe. Again, lots of tangents. I saw it with a couple of friends. One of my friends said that the film had many endings. Like they thought the movie would be over, and then it kept going, and then they thought it would be over, and then it kept going. I pretty much knew that it wasn't going to be over because it was still unresolved, but it did have that feel to it. It's just an indulgent film. The action is cartoonish, which is fine, save for a couple of scenes which are horrifyingly authentic, seem to be. I guess another problem, I don't want to say problem, but there are 2 things that I noticed that Tarantino does better than pretty much anybody, and that I thought were absent from this film. And I've been thinking, again, I've had about a week, 5 days to think about this. And I still haven't got it fully formed in my head. Again, I do want to see this film again. Usually Tarantino shows us, like, down to an excruciating detail, how something is done. How a plan is pulled off, comes together. There's never really anything like that here. I never was in suspense. The tension is light here. Only really in one scene did I really feel tense. And usually when watching a Tarantino film, I'm tense constantly. With Inglourious Basterds, like the last 45 minutes of the film is an exercise in tension. Here, there wasn't much of that at all, and there wasn't, again, there was nothing, I guess there was no great plan to show us come together, but there was, I had no suspense. There was no suspense, save for one, scene, pretty much. And that also comes down to my second thing that I feel is missing. Usually in a Tarantino film, there is a monologue, a beautifully written monologue that just hypnotizes you, usually delivered by one character. to another character. I thought that that was not here. If there was, it was DiCaprio, and it was a monologue, but it just didn't dig as much into the character as I feel Tarantino can do. I also had an issue with, I guess, casting DiCaprio. I believe this is DiCaprio's first villain. And long story short, I just didn't fully buy it. Maybe he's played like an asshole before, or someone who does things that normally someone wouldn't, but usually it's for a greater cause, you know, a righteous purpose. Here, he's just evil. And I never fully bought that evil. Tarantino says that he wanted to give the role to someone older. He had someone in mind when he wrote it, but DiCaprio lobbied so hard for the role that he got it. And DiCaprio's star power certainly doesn't hurt. But though he was good, DiCaprio's good, I just never bought that he was this demon that he is supposed to be. That's just me. That's just me. And he does give a terrific monologue, and it does show insight to his character, but I never thought that it fully reached a point. You know, that's it. So without Tarantino making me ungodly nervous and sitting on the edge of my seat, and without Tarantino hypnotizing me with his words, it just didn't come together for me. And again, with the long-winded storytelling, and the piece by piece, you know, it's like he assembled this together. The one thing that I love, that I will always love about Tarantino, is his love of character actors. There's tons of great character actors here. He obviously pays attention, the utmost attention to culture, pop culture, style of the film. Even the studio logos beforehand are, you know, antiquated. You know, the beginning of the film, the music, the original soundtrack, you know, it all honors the history of film. So again, that passion that he has is still, you know, explodes from the screen. So that's why a Tarantino film, I don't think, could ever truly be, you know, disappointing, is because there's just so much love that exudes from the screen. I don't really know what else to say. All the acting, very good. We have Jamie Foxx, he's Django. We have Christoph Waltz. Christoph Waltz seems to be just born to be in Tarantino films. He has this musical way of speaking. I think Christoph Waltz's success in both Inglourious Basterds and this film, again, this is just my personal theory, is that he obviously knows Tarantino. Obviously, he spends a lot of time talking with him. I think Waltz does somewhat of an impression of Tarantino when he's speaking. Obviously, he makes up these characters. You know, he's a fantastic actor. But I think that he creates a character and then puts a sliver of Tarantino, the man, into it, so that it sounds like Tarantino. Because, again, sounds like he was just born to speak his dialogue. But Christoph Waltz is great in this. Samuel L. Jackson, great. Who else was in there? Bruce Dern was in there. Don Johnson, very good. Jonah Hill in a cameo performance that I wish he hadn't been in there. you know, it just it's good. It's good. It's just indulgent. You know, a lot of people probably aren't going to see this film. Maybe a lot, even more, won't like it. It is very violent. It's very racial. You know, I talked with a couple of ladies who had seen this film, and they did not too much care for it just because of the violence and the language. The N-word, I won't say the word, but the N-word is used 182 times, something like that. So again, back to the indulgence. I think if you use anything to that extent, I think it's, in a sense, trying to rob the word of its power. You know, because again, you're just inundated with it throughout the film, and again, that word should lose its power. That word should mean nothing. I guess we can't forget it, but it shouldn't have the power that it does. And maybe that's what he was going for here. I guess Spike Lee has boycotted the film, has asked anyone who has any respect, caring for the African-American plight, not to see it, because it's disrespectful, again, according to Spike Lee. I mean, I could definitely see that if you look at it that way, but again, I think he's trying more to bring difficult issues to light, and at least make us confront them, discuss them. And again, just to use the N-word 180 plus times, I think you're just trying to rob the word of its power. So it's definitely difficult. You know, it was difficult. But then, you know, saying that, they do say that 182 times or something like that, but I don't think they only say fuck a couple of times, so that's really good for Tarantino. And I think the fucks that are uttered are by Samuel L. Jackson, and when Samuel L. Jackson says fuck, it becomes art. I think I hit the big points. Again, I can't wait to see the film again. I want to see it again. Just because I think Tarantino films are all at some level of great. But I would call this lesser Tarantino. I would call it lesser Tarantino. So there you go. I know I'll see it again, so maybe I'll have some more insight in the future. So there you go. That's Django Unchained. I'll give it an 8. Thank you very much.